G'day everybody and welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australia Nintendo podcast that is backed by a 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host Drew Agnew and the doors to episode 314 are open. Today on the show, we got some financial results from a week ago to catch up on. It's very exciting, but Josh loves them, so we're going to get into them. And I really appreciate the breakdowns from the industry perspective, so I hope you do as well. We've also got some Switch 2 specs to dive into, which is also very exciting. We've got numbers, but they're the numbers that we're actually spending our money on. You know, $700 Australian. This is what we're getting. We're getting 12 gigs of RAM. We're getting some other things as well. Very exciting. But of course, to talk all about that and much more is my co-host, Josh, or JT if you like. Josh, how you going, mate?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Drew. Doing pretty well. Counting down the days, obviously, till Switch 2. It's getting pretty close, under 20 now. It's like 17 or 18 for us today. As at the time of recording, one eye on that, but still plenty of stuff happening in between. And still buzzing, I suppose, after our Switch 2 experience a bit over a week ago now.
Yeah, I'm still buzzing from it. Like I said last week, I know what I'm missing out on, and I cannot wait until this thing's in my hands. It's I think about it every day, Josh. I don't know about you. Do you go many days without thinking about it?
Of course not. Yeah, every day, definitely. I don't know if you follow this guy called Paul Gale. He does a countdown every day.
No, I don't. No.
So it's Paul Gale Network. A lot of listeners, I'm sure, know him. And he did a countdown for the original April 2 Switch 2 Direct, and then it gathered a lot of traction. He's like, I'm going to do it again, and so he did it again for the Switch 2 launch. And so he's at a different place every day. And he just says 21 days until the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2, and that's pretty much it.
He's found his calling. He's like, look, people are excited for things, and I'll just count down to them.
Yeah.
What's he going to count down to?
And it's great.
Yeah, what's he going to count down to after the Switch 2?
That's a great question.
Donkey
I really
Kong,
wonder, if are the countdowns done, or is he just going to stop after that? Because there's not, that's right. It's got to be a dated thing straight after, doesn't it? That you know of.
He's just got to find, like, maybe he should dive into other industries as well. Like, you know, there'll be like a new makeup line coming out, so he'll be counting down for that.
Counting down to Christmas, he could do that.
Yeah, that's a major one. Like, that's a big demographic.
Yeah, just add 7 days to the number that you do for that, so it's pretty easy to remember. There's heaps of things.
That's right. Just a countdown machine. Look,
yeah.
I hope I find my calling like that one day. It's just like something that people just want to know. Like, Drew, how many days are there to this? And you know, the equivalent of that, whatever it might be. I hope I find it one day. I'm 30. I've got time. I've got at least
Drew,
another
your
20.
calling was to buy carry cases for the Switch 2 and then bring it to the Switch 2 experience and put the Switch 2 in the carry case to see what it looked like. But you failed to do that, Drew. That was
and
your
I
calling.
missed it. I missed it. Yeah,
missed
like
it.
I have got my Switch 2. What brand was it again? Skull and
You
Co.
kept talking
case.
about it as well leading up. And then I'm like, oh, how did that go? You're like, I forgot it. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I forgot it. Yeah, I was going to bring it to actually put a Switch 2 in it. Look, I'm not too worried, but it's funny because like whenever I unbox something, it always seems to go really well. Like if I put effort into a podcast or something where I sit down for like, you know, hour and a half every week, you know, it doesn't do that well, you know, the House of Mario. But if I sit down and just unbox something that I got in the mail, it usually does pretty well. So, you know, a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. That
It
like
is.
me just taking out a Switch 2 grip, and I don't even have the console to put it in. It's up to like, I don't know, 3,500 views, which is really good for me. And like I'm getting comments on it every day. And somebody said like the title of the video was the first Switch 2 grip, like stand grip or whatever it was called. And somebody's like, oh, well, there's a Satisfy one, there's a D-brand one. I'm like,
Well, actually.
yeah, I'm like, bro, no one has this. No one has them yet. They haven't shipped them.
Yeah.
I have it. Like I have it. Whether it's the first one, I don't know. I'm just playing the YouTube game and it worked because you're there. So leave me alone. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Switch 2, Josh. Every day thinking about it. I bought some little mouse attachments off of AliExpress.
Yes.
But I can put my Joy-Con 2s into and use as a mouse. See Daniel from Vooks posted that he got them and shared a link. I'm like, nice, I'll get them. Because there's heaps of them on AliExpress, but some of them cover up the buttons. I'm like, no, you need the buttons. You need the buttons. Because some of them cover up the Y button. So like they're all...
Why?
Yeah, but why? Why do you cover up Y?
But why?
Yeah, it's a bit mean, a bit rough. Sucks to be the Y button.
I'm going to hang on to Nintendo. Nintendo's going to do it, Drew. Next Direct. It's part of the Wave 2. Launch has happened. Here's the date for Metroid Prime 4, and here's a new mouse attachment. You can put the Joy-Con 2 in.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
No one else has said it. Right here. I actually don't think we'll get one.
Game here.
I think Nintendo honestly just want it to be as simple as possible. Take off the Joy-Con, put it on the side and use it. I think the idea of it making it a bit more clunky or needing extra accessories to make it good, like quote unquote, I don't think that's what they want, but who knows? Maybe they've like that logic with those steering wheels doesn't really work either. Maybe they want it like you could use the same sort of reasoning with that too. You just want to take them off and use the motion controls. But they've got little wheel attachments for that. So don't know.
I think they can do it. I think they could find a way to design it.
I think they could find a way to. Yeah. But for now, I've got my 3D printed AliExpress ones. They cost me $11, so not too bad. I'll see what they're like when they come in. They should come in. You won't
feel bad if it's not good.
Yeah, that's right. They can go to the rubbish bin or something. But yeah, they'll come in maybe June 1st if their estimations are right. So yeah, I don't know what more accessories I need. I've got little mouse attachments. I've got grip, SD card, camera. I've got this thing pretty decked out. I've got the GameCube controller. I've got so many accessories. It's borderline ridiculous, but not quite there just yet. Not quite.
And are you ready for EB Games breakfast in the morning, Drew?
Yeah. No.
Bacon and eggs and a bit of hash brown. Is that what they're cooking up there at your local store?
I'll be lucky to get like a smile, let alone them cooking me bacon and eggs. So I'm not going to hold on to anything like that. But you're going to a midnight launch, so you're going to be getting, I don't know, whiskey on rocks or something. They're going to be serving beers there. It's going to be a bit of a party.
R-rated shows, Drew. It's all happening.
Strippers at the front. Yeah, not bad.
Correct. Yep. Rundle Mall EB Games. Say hello if you're there as well. So that's been a bit of a fiasco, hasn't it, with EB Games? And they're we were hoping they'd do a midnight launch, and then they announced it. I'm like, hell yeah! And then wasn't for a little while later that the fine print or people looked into it a bit more and like, hang on, you need to be an EB Plus World member, whatever that means, and that's a $49 subscription you pay a year, or you trade in your original Switch and you get crumbs for it in return, and then that will give you a fast pass, one of those two options, and then you can then go to the midnight launch and get your Switch to at midnight instead of 9 a.m. the next morning or later that morning. So I think common sense has prevailed, and they've avoided a big marketing mishap further by saying everyone's welcome.
Yeah, they were trying to bend us over a barrel and just...
At first they were.
Just milk our little titties just trying to get that extra $50 out of us, weren't they?
People really don't like this. I'm like, no way am I paying $49 knowing I can go there anyway. And, if I paid $49 now, it's just to get me served 5-10 minutes earlier. I'm like, no, that is not happening.
Yeah, I guess like Josh summed it up there pretty well, but I guess a little bit more context just for people out of Australia. EB Games, they were trying to sell us their subscription service by, making us require it to get into their midnight launch or their breakfast launches, which basically the stores open a little bit earlier for...
They refuse to open at midnight.
Yeah, or couldn't by law or whatever reason.
Yeah, there's a few places.
My local EB Games is opening at 7, but they're not required by law. They don't want to do it, which is fair enough. I don't blame them. But come on. So yeah, they're trying to sell us their subscription, and I was just like, so I was just trying to justify it in my head. So I'm like, all right, so imagine if my EB Games, especially like midnight launch is one thing, but their breakfast launches. So opening at 7 o'clock, 2 hours earlier. So I get there at 7. I've paid off over $1,000 worth of product from their store. Switch 2, accessories, like I've paid it. Like it's not a pre-order. I've bought it. I've paid it all off. I'm going to go there at 7 o'clock and they're going to be like, hey, look, you don't have a fast pass. You're going to have to wait 2 hours. Like so they're just not going to give it to me. I'm like, that is absolutely ridiculous. Like if they did that, I would have been filthy. I'm like, come on guys, I've paid it off. It's in the back there. just give it to me. Like there would have been no way that I would have done that. I would have sat maybe on a bench just at front, staring at them for 2 hours. 9 o'clock ticks over. I get up, go to the counter. All right, can you give it to me now? But yeah, I'm glad that they changed it because now like the fast pass, it basically gives you priority in line, which in in my local EB games, I don't expect there'll be much of a line. Maybe at your event, Josh, it'll be a little bit more useful, like midnight Rundle Mall in the centre of Adelaide. It might be a little bit more necessary. You might get pushed in front and all of that, but it's glad you can still go and get it at least. It doesn't really matter if it takes you a little while. It's just kind of cool to be there and be a part of a midnight launch because it's been a long time. Like the last midnight launch I remember down here in like rural South Australia would be like a Call of Duty game or something on 360.
Yeah.
You know, it was like a long time ago. So
I've never been to one either, so I'm pretty keen just to be one
I haven't
one
either.
for a console launch. So,
yeah. Like something you care about because like, I played the Call of Duties, but I was not going to a midnight launch type of thing. Like I'm not a COD fanatic. So yeah, the fact that they're doing it for this, pretty cool. And I feel like they need to do it. Like GameStop, EB Games, these retailers that specialize in video games, they need to do it. Like it really does. Even if they lose a bit of money on the night, it really does just like, I guess, just breed loyalty from their
gets
customers.
people in the store. People will buy other stuff. There'll be buzz around it. Like the whole vibe of it will just be conducive to more sales. So, yeah, I definitely agree. It's a fun thing they can do. Something you can't do online, in person. So extra things going on, and yeah, I'll stay up late. I usually go to bed, 10:30, but I'll stay up late and open my Switch 2 straight away. I might do an unboxing or something at midnight. Or just
Hells
after.
yeah!
It'll be pretty early.
I'm going to wake up in the morning
and
I'm going to see Josh unboxing a Switch 2 with the biggest bags under his eyes. He's that tired. It's 2 o'clock in the morning.
Hey, I did 3:30 for the Switch 2 pre-orders, so I will be in bed before then. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anybody who've listened to that particular episode will know I did not handle that later night very well. I was just absolutely dead by the time we got to the end of that.
It.
Yeah, like I could barely talk. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I was gone. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Do you see yourself sort of staying up afterwards? Like you'll unbox it, you'll record that. Do you see yourself playing any games and playing around with it, or do you just see yourself setting Mario Kart up for download and going to bed?
I'll play a little, but yeah, I'm not sure how much, to be honest. I think I'm keen to get it straight away. I want to do an unboxing because I'm curious to see if I get in early enough how well that will do. Get that out, and then obviously play a bit of World, and until I really want to go to sleep, I reckon. So if I stay up, I stay up. I have Thursday and Friday off work, so it's not like I need to be ready for work or anything that day.
Yep. No, I feel like when you go to the bed that night, and as soon as your eyes open in the morning, blankets off, you'll be straight up. Like you'll have all of the all of the excitement to like jot you out of bed. There'll be no like snoozing your alarmo. They'll be like, yeah, you'll be straight up. I know I will be if I was in your position.
I won't get much sleep because it'll be the midnight launch. We've got to pick it up, pick up all the accessories, get home. I'll do the video, play it for a bit, then go to bed, and then we've got to pick up Michaela's Switch 2 because we pre-ordered at 2 different stores. I kind of hedged my bets, but yeah, so we'll go to the JB in the morning, pick that up, and then come back.
What time does that open?
9, I think. I'll have to double check in case they do earlier there as well. But
Michaela will be in like the passenger seat, just like warming up the engine. Like, Josh, can we go? Like, she'll be keen for hers as well.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you got, didn't the bundle you got for her, did it not include Mario Kart?
I tried to do that at first, but that was when on EB Games it was not being shown. So I didn't know whether they stuffed up the listing, but we thought it had sold out straight away. So we just got one with Mario Kart. But in the end, it worked out because I think she's keen to play it.
Yep. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. You'll want 2 copies of that game. You'll want to sit down and play together and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
my only thing is, do I swap out mine for a normal Switch 2 bundle without Mario Kart and get a physical version of Mario Kart World? I don't know. That's my only thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah, you just have to put a $50 note on the table and look at it like, how much do I want this bit of plastic? Is it worth this $50 note?
That's right. Do I do that?
Yeah. Do you see yourself I guess being that passionate about physical that you'll do that? Like, it's not just the $50. It's like you got to change stuff.
I'll buy most of them physical anyway because they'll be cheaper still physically because the eShop prices are more.
Yeah.
It's just whether I just, for this one time, because of the bundle deal, you save money, whether I want Mario Kart World in my physical collection. And have it displayed right up there, and where the Wii U games are. To the left of the Switch games, it will start getting moved across, and the Switch 2 collection will go there.
It'll be a new era. Mario Kart will start it all. But I feel like Mario Kart, it's also one of those things, you'll want it on you all the time. Like, say you're playing Donkey Kong or you're playing Kirby or whatever physical game you have in there, you'll always be like, all right, here's a race, do a Mario Kart, and you swap back to it. So that might be a thing. Like,
maybe
you don't need all your games, but maybe that's one game.
Maybe that's one.
You'll appreciate hanging on to it just as a digital copy. But yeah, because I can say, I feel like most Nintendo fans, it's probably worth having Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, Animal Crossing. Like, they're probably like evergreen games you want to come back to all the time. That they might be worth having like digital on the system all the time. But
yeah, they're big ones. So I will play it by ear and see how I go.
I guess talking about physical Switch games, Josh, we're talking about the Switch 2 editions. We got like a big update of the updates that are coming out. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But what Switch 2 edition would you like on Switch 2 that we haven't got already? Because I know for me, we talked about it. I always talk about Smash Brothers, but I would love a Smash Brothers just Ultimate Switch 2 edition, as well as a brand new one. I want both. I'll take both. I'm greedy. Nintendo will take my money as many times as they possibly can, so I will be happy to oblige. But yeah, I think just especially, I'm not even concerned about content necessarily, but obviously I'd love like new modes, characters, all that. If they ever decided to do that, be very happy to hand the money over. But honestly, like looking at Metroid with 120 frames, I would love Super Smash Bros. To have 120 frames or just 80 frames or, just more frames. Give me more frames for like that real fast fighting game. But that's one I would really like. Another one might be like we're getting it for the most recent Pokemon game, but isn't out yet, and getting the update for Scarlet and Violet. But honestly, I would like the other Pokemon games to get a bit of a glow up as well, like Sword and Shield, and even back to the Pokemon Let's Go games. I'd like them to get a bit of a glow up, whether it is extra content or just an update with frame rate and I guess resolution. That'd be pretty cool. I would appreciate that because
Should we go through the list that has been announced though? Because that did just come through.
Yeah.
The other day.
Yeah. Might talk about it. Oh, well, I guess we'll talk about it now. But I'll bring it up after. I guess you talk about the Switch 2 edition you'd like. What would you like, Josh? What game do you need?
I think Pikmin 4
is
a great looking game, but it could look even better on obviously with the upgrades. And I think that's such a hearty, really fun, full game. And I think, just to round off the Pikmin side, that'd be really good. Because I think some of the others touch a wide array of genres, but Pikmin 4 didn't get touched on. And then, not that I don't know if it really needs it, but Metroid Dread, I'd love to see that look as nice and popping as possible. But like Link's Awakening was a big one that they've announced, and like the frames were bad on that. like especially in the towns. So that will look really, really good with the Switch 2 update.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the idea for Pikmin 4 because, yeah, Pikmin 4 is one I haven't played and I've got it. So the idea of them just...
Man, you got to play it. So fun.
Yeah, like I'm kind of at the point now with some of these Switch games that I haven't played. I'm a little bit just like, do I just wait? Like, will I get a Switch 2 edition with 4K mouse mode, all this stuff? Like,
yeah. The other one should be Super Mario Maker 2. Not just for the visuals, but for the mouse mode.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm surprised that wasn't announced as part of the initial listing.
Yeah, I'm only not surprised because with Mario Maker and Animal Crossing specifically, I can see Nintendo having them in the works already for a sequel. But I'll take with those games, I'll take both as well, to be honest. Especially Animal Crossing, I think that'd be great. Like, I want a brand new Animal Crossing, but I also would take just a nice upgrade for that game, especially when it comes to load times and things like that.
Yeah.
But Mario Maker, I don't know, like, I'm not really into making levels, so I don't know what they can add to it for me to get me excited about it. I kind of go into it and just be like, search up the levels and play them.
I think, and I think more so for me, I agree with you. I'm not big into making it, but I definitely see the utility and the value for people with that feature being added to that game. That would add a lot to it. Yeah,
certainly. Like any game that used, I guess, a touchscreen back on the Wii U or the DS or 3DS, like those types of series would benefit
it felt like
really
a step
well.
back for a lot of people. I do remember people saying, like, the Wii U, just the gamepad, it was just so great to design levels, and then the Switch one just doesn't quite have the same feel to it.
Could you use the touchscreen in handheld mode? I actually don't know. I can't remember.
I believe so.
Probably could. So
believe so.
That's not too bad, but yeah, a mouse is still probably better for that. Yeah, like you said, let's talk about the free updates that are coming to existing Switch games for Switch 2. So these are coming at launch day, the day of the release of the Switch 2, which is pretty cool. So first up, we got ARMS. So we've got visuals that optimize for the Nintendo Switch 2 display with high-resolution TVs for improved image quality. Got frame rate that's optimized for Nintendo Switch 2 for smoother movement. And it clarifies here that it's even for playing with 3 or more players, and it's got HDR support. So that's pretty cool. It's cool to see ARMS here. Like, it feels like even Nintendo forgets about it after like the first couple of years of of the Switch's life. So, and it is kind of cool because visually ARMS looks kind of on par with some of like the Switch 2 games coming out. So you just put the frame rate and the visuals up. It kind of looks like it fits in. So if you haven't played ARMS and you're picking up Switch 2, it's kind of not a bad option to go with in some ways. But I don't think many people would. I think
this is a great game, Drew, and I'm glad it got an update. I think this is my second favorite one on the list of games that got the update because
Might be
we'll go
one
over that first one later, and you probably know which one it is. But like, underrated game. Like, came out in the launch window, and I think it sold better because of that. It's really fun. I'd love to see a sequel to this, and I think it just for a new IP, it had a lot of like charm and like a whole lore built around it. Like, I just think like it had similar vibes to Splatoon, not quite as deep cutting, but like the world it started to create, and then the music as well. Like, this game deserves a sequel, and I hope we get one.
I reckon this game would have done a lot better if it was. I feel like Splatoon took off because they had deep lore, but they also gave you that hub area to explore and the characters in it. I feel like if ARMS just had a hub area, but it wasn't just menus like a traditional fighting game, I feel like that would have helped it a lot. Just have people visualize this world instead of like slideshow cutscenes that were in the game. Might have helped as well, but it is what it is. It's got a second chance. It'd also be a lot easier to recommend it if it wasn't still $80. That's the other thing too, because it's like, I would love people to go and try it out now.
That's
like,
cheap
why
now,
not?
Drew. That's cheap. That's
right.
That's
a cheap game. That's a cheap game. You're right.
Game now, Drew.
Next up, we've got Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain. This has game share support. So up to 4 people can play in party mode and share locally or online via game chat. So, big game chat update, which is pretty cool. This is obviously a feature I am very excited to try, see how it works, because the idea of sharing a game online, I'm a little bit like, how's it going to work? It's Nintendo Online. Also, my internet's not that fast. So will I be able to utilize this type of stuff? I don't know. Time will tell. Next up, we've got Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. So we've got updated visuals and HDR support. And also, like, Josh, I just want to ask you, when you're going through these, what are the updates you're looking for the most? Because I feel like with Nintendo games, I feel with the Switch on my TV, the thing I noticed the most personally for my 4K TV is just like HDR not being there for these bright, vibrant games. You can just tell, like, it should be so much more colorful. Because when I'm playing on the other consoles, it's just, the color just looks stunning. But on Switch, it's just like, it's pretty muted. So when I see HDR support, I'm like, yes, I'm excited because even that alone is going to be massive for a 4K TV. But what are you most excited about when you're looking at these dot points?
For me, because only a couple of them do, there's the actual additional functionality of updates and for more players to connect and things. You'll go over it soon, but that's the number one for me. I don't care as much with the HDR, but there's some games where the frame rates are bad, and so like getting that up to 60 at least just will make you more immersed in it. You don't get taken out of the illusion of the game as much, I feel.
Yeah, no, cool. Clubhouse Games, 51 worldwide classics.
Here we go.
We're going to play poker tonight, boys. So we've got game share support. Up to 4 players can play 34 games. And you can share locally or share online via game chat. So yeah, this is going to be pretty cool. Like if you just want to have a chill session with like a family member or a friend over like game chat, chuck your faces up on the TV, play some poker, and even if the other person doesn't have the game, you can play it, which, don't know, that sounds pretty good in my book. I've got the game and free update. Can't complain about it.
So good. I got one of my brothers this game for Christmas. He loves games like me, these small ones, and so yeah, this will be like we can play more of the games together. So I look forward to like holiday periods, bringing the update, and we can play more of the games.
Yeah,
I got him into Mancala from this game. I love Mancala from this game, and that's such a fun game with the pebbles and moving them around. And we could do that already, but like the poker and the other things with like they wouldn't let you because you couldn't see, it would. There wasn't a way for you not to see other people's hands until this update now. So that's the stuff I'm excited. This game becomes a lot more playable now because of it.
Yeah, certainly. Like I was playing it with Chantel when it came out, and I'm like, there's a lot of stuff you can't play. We're playing together. I'm like, it's like 51 games, but it was like, it may as well be 5.
Yeah, it's pretty limited.
Because I'm not going to play it by myself, this type of thing. So it was very limited. But yeah, Game Share kind of transforms this game, which is pretty cool. So, and it's also neat that you can do this online, and it's like if we don't feel like just smashing our heads against the wall playing Mario Kart Knockout Tour one night, we can just do like a few hands of poker, or play a game of chess or something, and just hang out and do it. Sounds pretty good.
Correct. Yep.
We got Game Builder Garage, so visual update as well as mouse support. So yeah, this was one. I think the game actually, this was the only game on Switch 1 that supported just like a traditional mouse being plugged into the dock. So it already had mouse support, but now it has mouse support via the actual system itself. So pretty cool. I remember this game back in the day, Bryce, his kids were pretty into this game, just building stuff. I had a bit of a go at it, but yeah, I didn't have any interest in making any games myself. So I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
That was my little bit of time with it. But yeah, I hope it gets a bit of a second life with maybe some kids that want to be creative and make some cool games. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe getting a visual update. So this was a little bit surprising in some ways, but cool. I'd like to see how that looks on a 4K TV now. The big one, Josh, Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet is getting visuals optimized for Nintendo Switch display and high-resolution TVs, as well as frame rate for improved, smoother movement on Nintendo Switch 2. And this is the big one. It needed new hardware to, I guess, fix it. And we will see whether the Band-Aid of Nintendo Switch 2 fixes Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I don't know if it will. That's the issue.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of worried about like those textures are pretty bad to begin with. So you're just going to see those bad textures even more clearly now. And
The Pokemon Company updated us with some screenshots of Scarlet and Violet running on Switch 2. And obviously it's not a movement, so we can't see the frame rate. But just looking at the game, it's like, ooh, like Jesus Christ! there was a screenshot of like a lake and then like trees and stuff, and like the trees look horrendous. The water looks awful. The Pokemon look like they're just like not even floating like in the water. They look like they're floating in the air because the water doesn't really look like water. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Maybe it needs like a blur filter rather than visuals optimized. Like
maybe,
but
yes,
the frame rate.
I'm glad it's there. It's a start.
Yeah, 100%. I'm glad it's there. I will be playing it because I haven't finished the second part of the DLC, and it's frustrating because that DLC is like something I've been asking for a long time. It was single player content that focuses on competitive battling. That had a bit of a challenge to it. Like all the trainers were using strategies that I guess people in the video game tournaments were utilizing, like teams that actually use strategy with the items and double battles and all that. I'm like, this is really cool, and it's based on like a school that's in the Unova region. I'm like, so it's like a throwback to Pokemon Black and White. I'm like, they're doing a lot of things here, but I don't want to get motion sickness from playing my game. But so maybe I'll go back to it when I have some time. When I feel like Pokemon, which happens quite often. I do feel like Pokemon quite often. So I very much like the games. I'll go back to it then on Switch 2. Looking forward to it. Not Pokemon. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. So we've got visuals that are optimized for the Switch 2. We've got frame rate. We've got frame rate update. And this is strange, but we're getting HDR support for Bowser's Fury only. So for whatever reason, the main game of Super Mario 3D World is not getting HDR support, which, like I mentioned, it's kind of disappointing. So you'll be like swapping between the games here, and like one will look a lot more colorful and rich, and the other one will just still look a bit washed out on your TV.
Interesting.
But a little bit strange. I just wonder. Yeah, like just how the port's done. Is it a little bit too much Wii U code in there where they can't do it? Like it's just. It is strange. It's just that is a good question to ask one of the engineers. Like, a little bit strange here, boys, but tell us, and they'll probably tell us, and we won't understand because it will be way too technical.
Yeah.
But yeah, still very strange. It also has a game share support as well. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. That's a fun game to play together because when I bought it initially on Wii U, I never actually wanted to play it multiplayer, but it came out summertime and we were down at the beach house and a lot of like friends and that came over like, oh, do you want to play something? And I'm like, well, I'm playing this at the moment. Do you want to play 3D World? And we had a lot of fun doing it. So it'd be pretty cool to share with some friends on the other side of the country or the world, or maybe just the house next to you, but you don't want to leave the house, which is fair enough.
That's right.
Super Mario Odyssey, we're getting visuals and HDR support and game share support for people who are controlling Cappy. And I forgot that you could even do the whole Cappy thing, to be honest with you. But that's there, but I like it.
Played it in a while.
It showed us in the Nintendo Weekly or whatever the app's called. I completely forgot.
Nintendo Today.
Nintendo Today, yes. It actually looked pretty good, the visual update. I'm like, that's kind of like a pretty impressive glow up for like a free update, considering like the other bigger ones we're paying for. So yeah, pretty cool. Happy with that with Mario Odyssey. Will you be going back to Mario Odyssey, Josh?
Not immediately. Not for this update, no.
No. I'll go back to it eventually. I've been meaning to go back to Mario Odyssey for a long time. I won't be doing it around launch. I'll be playing Mario Kart. I want to go back to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. And there's a bunch of other third-party games I want to play as well. So Mario Odyssey I'll not have time for, but I probably will download it and clock into it just to see what it looks like. But not committing myself just yet.
No, that's fair.
Then we got the Legend of Zelda games. So Echoes of Wisdom, visuals, HDR support, and the same for Link's Awakening, this is an exciting update. I've got to go back to Echoes of Wisdom. Did you end up finishing it, Josh? Or
No, I didn't.
Yeah,
I do need to go back to it as well.
Yeah. So this is cool. It doesn't say anything about frame rate, but the game already targeted 60 FPS, but it was just inconsistent. So the idea is that they don't really need to unlock it. It will hit 60, assumably, on the brand new hardware. Hopefully, fingers crossed. We shall find out. But yeah, pretty exciting updates here, Josh, for the most part. We've got a few games here I'm pretty keen to go back to. And just knowing things like ARMS, like I'm not going to go and play ARMS on like the launch month, but knowing that it's there for when I do want to go back to it and it will be better, sure, I'm happy about that. And I hope this is a pretty consistent thing for other Switch games, because I've got a massive first-party library on Switch. So the idea of them just being able to utilize the hardware that I have in 3 weeks' time, I'm very excited about that. And it gives me reason to go back and play them, even if they don't have extra content like we have with Kirby and Breath of the Wild and things like that. It's just kind of cool to know. So hopefully we get a lot more of it. I'm hoping to get some more stuff from it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's you feel like there's a bit more going on, a bit more life, an excuse as well to play some of these games that you might have missed or got partway through. So yeah, all for it.
Yeah, no, fantastic. All right, let's move on to some Switch 2 specs. But before we get into that, I just want to go over some housekeeping. So just to let you know what's going on in the world of Drew and the world of Josh, to check out the rest of our content. I've put some videos up on my YouTube channel. I've done a other podcast recording with my good friend Seth Sturgill over at All End Media, and we just had a bit of a geek out about the Switch 2. Talked about what we're really excited about. He had hands-on impressions over in the States as well, so we talked a lot about that, the future of Nintendo, the negative sort of aspects about the Switch 2 as well. I guess like what the community's thinking when it comes to like Doug Bowser, I guess saying you can buy the Switch 1 if the Switch 2 is a little bit more. Our thoughts on that. And we just had a great time. I had a really great time talking with Seth, so go and check that out. That's on the YouTube channel iDrewby, as well as the House of Mario podcast feed you might be listening to right now. And I just recorded an episode with my friend Luke, and we did a Lost Records spoiler cast. It's not up just yet, but it will be there when I edit it together. So pretty exciting stuff. But Josh, over on Nintendvania, your Nintendo podcast that you do every fortnight, you've had a bit going on. Obviously, we had the Switch 2 impressions. You've done an episode about that. And the week before, you did an episode all about Xenoblade Chronicles X. So a lot going on over there as well. Let us know about what's going on over at Nintendvania.
Yeah, so latest episode's all about the Switch 2 experience, about our free reign, wasn't it, Drew, over there in Melbourne? We got to do pretty much anything we wanted to those entire 4 hours we were there. So I'd suggest if you want to watch on YouTube. I've got the B-roll footage that I'm talking over, all the games we played, the dramatic time I had with Knockout Tour, nearly winning that. And then if you stick to the very end, you get to hear the screen match that Drew and I had to do for Super Mario Party, Nintendo Switch 2 edition, plus Jamboree TV. And pretty funny. The Nintendo staff got into it. They revved us up, and we delivered in spades, and we brought the whole convention floor. All the eyes came towards us on the screen. So very good fun. Had a great time. You can hear my thoughts on the hardware and the games themselves. And also, very soon, there'll be a rebrand for Nintendvania as well. So keep an ear and eye out for that. I did tease that a little at the end of the episode. So there'll be stuff coming before Switch 2 launches.
Yeah, and it's worth sticking around. It's very exciting. Josh has given me a bit of a peek.
Drew's seen it. Yes, he knows.
I like it. I very much like it.
Good.
So stay tuned for that. And, of course, you can support us on the podcast services by leaving us a 5-star review, both on the House of Mario and Nintendvania, or whatever it's going to be called next. Whatever it's going to be called next.
Whatever it's going to be called next, yes.
Who knows? So, yes, thank you very much. Now, let's jump back into what we were talking about. The Switch 2 specs, Josh. So Nintendo, they're usually a bit cagey about what they put in their hardware. They're like, doesn't really matter. It's just full of stardust and sprinkles. It just makes you happy. It brings the games to your living room. But no, we have some stats here, Josh. Very, very exciting. I've listened to people like Digital Foundry and some other people sort of, who can break it down a lot better than and I assume you're not really a specs man either. But I guess I will read it out, and there are some things we can go off just from these specs.
Yes.
So the CPU architecture is using a 8X ARM Cortex A78C. So
no way, really?
Get excited about that.
Man.
Just
the
in
A, but the one to the C. Shit.
Yeah, so very exciting stuff. And the CPU, the clocks. Well, there's a lot of numbers there. I don't know if it's worth me reading that out, but it is interesting that I guess it runs at 998 megahertz docked. But in mobile, what is it? Docked mobile. Because mobile's more.
You mean handheld? What are you?
Yeah, what am I looking at? So 1,101 megahertz mobile. Shouldn't that be less? I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what the fuck I'm reading. Maybe it's like a golf score. I don't know. Let's ignore the CPU.
I cannot help you in this segment at all, Drew. So I'm just going to let you.
No, because I was just going to do the difference between like the docked and the mobile performance, because it is quite drastic how the Switch 2 downclocks and upclocks depending on whether it's docked and whether it has power delivery. But I got to be honest, I was looking at this, I'm like, okay, I'm a bit confused. But the CPU, the system reservation, has 2 cores and 6 available to developers, whereas the Switch 1 had 1 core and 3 available to developers. So nice, a double up there compared to the original Switch. The CPU architecture has Ampere architecture compared to the Maxwell architecture on the Switch 1. The CUDA cores has 1,536 compared to the 256 on Switch 1. So yeah, pretty cool. Then the CPU clocks, we've got like quite a drastic difference between docked and undocked as well. Memory interface doesn't really matter because I don't understand it. I can't got enough to say about that. Memory bandwidth. Yeah, so this makes a bit more sense to me. This is a number that's bigger and smaller, depending on which one. So the memory bandwidth, we've got 102 megabytes docked, when it's 68 on mobile, so when it's in handheld mode. So yeah, like a fair bit more when it's docked. And this is what a lot of people have been talking about over the last week or so, as the system memory reservation. So it has 12 gig of RAM all up on the Switch 2, but 3 gig is reserved for, I guess, the OS. So stuff like game chat, screenshots, recordings, pressing the home button, going back, checking your friends list, eShop, all of that stuff at the same time as a game is idling. And it's kind of the same, I guess, percentage that Nintendo Switch 1 required, because on Switch 1 you had 0.8 reserved, but then 3.2 was reserved for games. So you had 4 gig RAM all up on there. So a similar percentage of what's taken, but I guess with a lot of people not really caring about game chat, whether you can voice chat your friends, a lot of people are like, oh my God, like a fourth of this thing is being dedicated to game chat. Whereas like it's not just game chat, it's like the whole OS on top of that. So, and people are also a little bit concerned, like if you're game chatting, does that mean it takes away the RAM allocation, and that means that like, your game might have like lower FPS or something like that. So a bit of concern there, but I honestly, when I read this and I listened to other people talk about it, I'm like, oh, well, I don't see any concern there. It's sort of just, it is just pretty much like developers always want more to work with. Like they would love it, like an extra gig of RAM just to take it from the OS and things like that, just to make their games run more smoother and get a bit more potential out of them. But I think that's just the nature of the beast in some ways. But yeah, it's pretty like I guess looking at these specs, it is like a little bit old in some ways, kind of like the Switch one, whereas you are looking at specs from maybe a couple of years ago. But the good thing about, I guess, console gaming in general, like whether you're a PC diehard or not, it is a console that developers can specifically target for, which is like a good thing. Like on Steam Deck or these other PCs, for example, if you're playing a game and it doesn't run well, you can turn everything down and make it work and make the battery work. But with Switch, the developers will actually go in and like get the best performance out of it, whether that's going in and like turning down the amount of enemies or traffic on screen, for example, with Cyberpunk, or adjusting the resolution, frame rate, all of that. They can, make it hopefully perfect for us to play at the end product, instead of making us do the hard work with all the settings and things like that. So, don't know. I'm pretty happy about it. Just like it's a massive glow up from Switch, and it seems to be matching or exceeding the current PC handhelds as well. So, don't know. I don't feel too bad about it, but I don't know. I guess not just from a numbers perspective, Josh, but as far as what you're seeing, we saw Cyberpunk have on-screen recording gameplay a couple of days ago. I don't know if you've got to watch any of that. It all looks pretty impressive. It looks good. And I was watching comparisons between that PS5 and, I guess PCs of the same equivalent. And I'm like, I don't know, it looks better on PS5, but honestly, not crazy amount better. It's kind of nuts what this thing's able to achieve when a developer's able to target it pretty well. So, don't know. How are you feeling about it, just power-wise and what we're seeing here?
Oh, pretty good. Like, yeah, and for those listening, I'm definitely not a tech specky kind of guy, so I look through the numbers and don't really understand much of it or need to know it. But yeah, from what I've read and can understand, it's it is looking like a beefy upgrade really, and I think it will keep up for the next few years at least. Once the PS6 and the next Xbox come out, that's going to be a different story. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. And we're getting obviously the 4K upgrades, 120 frames where possible. I don't think it'll be for everything, but from what we have now to what we're going to get. What was the RAM of the OG Switch?
4 gig.
4, so goes to 4 to 12. I'm surprised all of it goes to Game Chat, holding 3 there, reserving it, but still sizable. I don't. Yeah, outside of Game Chat, I don't think there's much else, because the user face is so simple, and I think they've deliberately done that still to maintain the RAM space and to allow that to happen. But obviously, Game Chat has to take some of it. They did that with the Switch, kept that simple, freed up the RAM a bit more, and they're trying to do it as much as possible now to free it up for Switch 2. So, pretty happy. We're getting a dock that will cool down the Switch 2 console to allow it to perform that much better. So, I think as a Nintendo fan, and I think for most Nintendo fans, it definitely ticks off what they need.
Yeah, and like DLSS is going to be a massive part in that. Like Cyberpunk, like it's running at like might be even like 500 something P resolution or something, but like the DLSS, like how it upscales for 4K is just kind of crazy. So yeah, it'd be interesting just to see like a lot of these third-party games. That's what I'm really interested in. Just like at launch, I would like to play as many as I can. Just like stuff like Cyberpunk and Street Fighter and maybe Yakuza and stuff like that. Where I'm just like, how do other developers handle it? Because Nintendo games are going to look stunning on this thing. Like there's no ifs or buts about it. Mario Kart looks great. Probably the worst looking game is Donkey Kong, purely because of it's going for that that intensive, destructive gameplay where you are breaking things and the system's remembering that and all of that. But
correct.
I'm just interested to see how it goes. Where at least for the first couple of years, it's going to be pretty good. Happy about it. But
definitely.
I guess also in some other negative news when it comes to Switch 2 hardware, VRR is only going to be available in handheld mode, and don't know, it's a little bit frustrating in some ways, potentially. Like VRR, it's just variable refresh rate. So If a game is running at inconsistent frame rate, the screen is able to smooth it out so it doesn't look so choppy. And for a game like, for example, Donkey Kong, it will be very useful because it seems like that game's frame rate is going up and down. And VRR is potentially what might save me from motion sickness when it comes to those just inconsistent frame rates. Like when I got to play the game, I got motion sick. If I had VRR on, would it have helped me? I don't know. But it does give me hope for that game that if I play it in handheld mode and it utilizes VRR, I'll be saved, potentially. But yeah, I assume, Josh, you don't have too much to say apart from...
I mean, I think if you had the choice of if it was only VRR for only handheld or for docked, you'd choose handheld, wouldn't you? Because, that's where the VRR would make it better, because wouldn't it be more likely to look worse on your Switch 2 via handheld? So VRR helps there. So it's not like they can't add it later, I figure. Like, it could be something they could include for both.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's an update. It came to an update in the PlayStation 5. So, I mean, hopefully.
So it's possible then.
Hopefully it's not like a bit of an oversight when it comes to the dock, because the only thing is, like, it might be like a bandwidth issue from like a bit of hardware in the dock that doesn't allow it to go through. That's the scary part potentially, but we shall see. If not, I'll just have to throw my TV in the bin and just play on the Switch 2 itself. Just mount that on the wall.
Yeah.
And play Mario Kart that way. Have it look a little bit smoother. I'm like, this is worth it. It's worth it. This was an interesting one I saw last week, I thought. This was from gamesindustry.biz, and I thought I'd just bring it up and it'd be an interesting discussion for Josh and I to have. And the article is just titled, Nintendo could become a primary partner for third-party game publishers over the next 5 years, new analyst claims. And I'll read into the story. We'll read into as much as I need to I guess, start off the conversation. But I guess, quote, Nintendo could become the primary partner for third-party publishers in the next 5 years. That's according to new research from DFC Intelligence via Eurogamer, which projects Nintendo will exceed its own 15 million units sold forecast later this year by at least 1 million and possibly reach 20 million. Quote, reflecting on historical conservative approach to new product forecasting, Nintendo is estimating sales of 15 million Switch 2 units through the end of its financial year in March 2026, DFC wrote. Quote again, when the original Switch launched in March 2017, Nintendo initially projected 10 million units for the physical year, but ultimately sold 15 units in that period. Based on that track record, the fact that Nintendo is forecasting a 15 million unit number gives us confidence that they will be able to ramp up supply to navigate tariff challenges, end quote. By the end of 2029, however, DFC forecasts that the Switch 2 will have sold over 100 million units, making it the leading console system by a large margin. The next few years could see Nintendo, for the first time, becoming the primary partner for third-party game publishers, the analyst added. So, yeah, I thought it was just like an interesting thing, just like, obviously a lot of these analyst firms are always putting out just... It's sometimes outrageous claims where, like, I feel like maybe more traditional gamers, the everyday gamer, might look at that and be like, that sounds a bit ridiculous. And I honestly think that sounds a bit ridiculous. It's kind of like assuming like PlayStation and PC aren't also selling like extremely well. Like PlayStation 5 is going to be on track for 100 million units pretty easily, and PC gaming is only growing day by day. So it's not just Nintendo that's having this success. So I can see it being a great spot for third-party games. We're seeing it with like Borderlands 4 later this year as well, where it's going to be like a day-and-date thing. And hopefully we'll see it going forward where there is Switch 2 versions of games coming out, and that we get a lot more like, I guess, third-party games. Because it kind of feels like the Xbox Series S is kind of the stepping stone for this, like the Switch 2 to get these games, because we think about a lot of a lot of these games like not being able to run on like a Steam Deck or a Switch 2 or whatever have you, but every game that comes to like Xbox Series X also has to come to Series S. Like that's a requirement they've got in place. And Series S and Switch 2, they seem to be relatively comparable. So hopefully we will get that more third-party support. But the idea of Nintendo being the primary partner, don't know, sounds a little bit far-fetched at this point. But what are you thinking when you heard just what I read there? Do you see like, even if Nintendo has like a great success, like they did with Switch, do you see them being a, quote, primary partner?
I think yes at the moment. And, because it's the newer console, the one that might have a large amount of uptake, and especially with, Nintendo's definitely gone more towards being open arms when it comes to third-party developers over the Switch life cycle. We'll see if that's still the case with Switch 2. We're hearing a few things that might be counter to that in terms of dev units, dev consoles, and them getting their hands on it. I think they're definitely working for the big partners first, and then it's filtering down to others. But it'll be the hottest thing at the moment, and third party developers will want to be on it because it will sell games on if they have their games on it. So I think it kind of goes without saying in a way. Typically, Nintendo has been very open with a third party, and it's served them well on the Switch. And it's always been a bit of a Achilles heel for them over the years with other consoles. They just haven't had that. They've had some of the big players, but a lot of the other ones sort of stay away, and it feels like it is just a Nintendo games machine and nothing much else. But I feel pretty confident that it will continue on. You see. Some of the big third-party stuff that's been announced, not just, with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, but, getting, EA still coming to the party, Capcom, we're getting all these third-party, the big ones, coming with things somewhat soon, if not straight away. So I'd like to think that continues. So, sort of one that kind of goes without saying until the PS6 maybe, but even then we don't know.
Yeah, like just looking to the future of, the gaming industry, like what is the future of like a PlayStation 6? Like I know for me, I'm pretty happy with PS5. Will I feel completely different in 2 years? I'm like, I need a new PS5. I don't know. Do I need a PS6?
Yeah, is it rumored to come soon? Because it still only feels like it's just come out, the PS5. I know it's only 5 years this year, which is crazy. I would have thought that'd be a near 10-year system.
Yeah, PS5 Pro just came out last year as well.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Hopefully that has a bit more legs on it. So we might be looking at a situation where, apart from the mega games like GTA 6 and I don't know, obviously that's the most mega game of them all, but apart from like massive, like expensive, graphically intensive system heavy games, maybe like developers will kind of appreciate Nintendo for having like a lower spec one that they can make really beautiful games on, but it doesn't take years to develop. It doesn't take like a massive budget, and they might actually appreciate it. Like a lot of like Square Enix games and Capcom and all that, they can make amazing games with the power that Switch 2 offers, I feel like. So yeah, maybe they will. Maybe they'll, because like a lot of people on PS5 or PC might be expecting better in terms of graphics, but us on Switch 2, we might be happy to take the smaller games that they develop too. Like it's interesting because No, you go. Sorry.
Any big AAA game now, if you start making it, like, is it going to come onto the PS6? Is it going to take?
No,
by the time
not.
you finish it, like these things take years now. Sadly, some of the big games, and so, I think that's why these generations have to last a little bit longer, just to stretch it out, and otherwise, we're going to get a lot more like what we've got with GTA, from going from 5 to 6, where it just skipped a generation effectively, and comes now to everyone next year.
Yeah, because like on the PlayStation side of things, you've got Intergalactic from Naughty Dog, and that's not a guarantee that it will come out while the PS5 is the relevant console. That could easily be a cross-gen game when PS6 is out. Like, these games are just so intense to make that, yeah, it just takes so long. And don't know, like with PS3, Naughty Dog got out 3 Uncharted games and The Last of Us. Whereas like PS4, they went down to 2 games. And PS5, they've 5 years, they've gone down to nothing, apart from the remakes of the Last of Us games and a couple of collections for the Uncharted games. So yeah, it's I don't really want to get to that point when it comes to Nintendo. Like, you know, I don't want it to be like, all right, well, we're not going to see this developer for 8 years. Like, it's scary stuff. It's scary from us who just want to play great games but not want to wait, you know, a good percentage of our lives to finally get them. And also, more importantly, I think for the developers, like, you'd imagine being at one of these places for 8 years and like shipping one product. It mustn't be the best feeling, you know. You want to get your ideas out there and people to enjoy them. And
that's right.
Yeah, just to be, just hard at work for that long. And
a lot of focusing on one thing.
Yeah, and of course the risk for the companies as well when it might be a flop and you spend a lot of money and a lot of time and you can't rebound for the next product to try and make that back very quickly. So, yeah, I think that's maybe the biggest thing is just like a lot of smaller games that aren't the top of the AAA might really appreciate Switch 2. And if it's anything to go by on Switch 1, you know, we like buying games on Switch. So that'll continue on Switch 2, I dare say, too. We like to buy games from the eShop. Physical games are massive on Switch as well. Like, by far the biggest intake of physical games. 50% of people still buy physical games on Switch 1. So, yeah, a lot of positives when it comes for developers on Nintendo's platform. But
yeah,
we shall see. All right.
Shall. Yes.
I guess while we're talking about that, we'll quickly just get through the Killer Instinct Gold. It's on Nintendo's Switch Online Classics. I thought it was just interesting purely because, you know, a Rare game. It's back on Nintendo. Another one. Microsoft playing ball. Josh, do you have any experience with Killer Instinct at all?
Never. I've just heard people talk about it coming to the service and they'd be really keen on it. So never played it. Be a cool one to check out briefly. I don't know how long I'll be really playing it though.
Yeah. The first time I heard about it was like the Xbox One version coming out. And I'm like, oh, I actually didn't know it was like a classic Nintendo franchise from Rare. So I'm like, cool. And I guess this is an opportunity to give it a go. But I'm the same way. I'll just have a bit of a dabble on Switch 2, I dare say. I'll put on my retro filter and I'll be like, nice. Maybe I'll be sucked into it. Maybe I'll be going to tournaments. Maybe I'll have the merchandise. I'll just be all about it. I'll be like, Killer Instinct.
Don't know until you try.
I'll be on the Xbox forums, be like, hey, look, Xbox, bring it back. Bring it back, baby. But highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. All right, so let's talk about Nintendo's financials from last week. Josh, you work at a bank. You're a big financials nut. You're clacking away on that keyboard all day long. You finish work, you hang out the coat, you come back inside, you sit at your computer, you talk to me, and you talk about numbers and financials again. So, how is it? How's it looking, Josh? What do we need to know?
So this was the most boring quarter ever for the Nintendo Switch in terms of their financials. So that's pretty exciting, isn't it, Drew?
I like it. I like it.
Yep, can only get better. But this is the March quarter, so it gets a little boring because it's January, February, March, and after Christmas, everyone spent their money, so they don't spend money in this quarter. Pretty quiet. I think the big thing overall was the Switch 2 sold another 1.26 million units, so overall it is at 152 million consoles sold, so it is very, very close to the Nintendo DS, only a couple of million away, all a bit under now. And then it just got to get to a little bit more to get to the PS2 now, which was 155, but it is at now 160, thanks to them finding 5 million units somewhere.
Big warehouse.
Yes, something like that. In terms of their forecast, they're forecasting another 4.5 million will get sold in the next year. So if you add those 4.5 to the 152, that will get them to about 156 and a bit.
Yeah, if
And then
if
after
PlayStation didn't find them, they would have got them. But
they would have got him in this quarter, correct? In the year from now, correct?
yeah, are they gonna? It's gonna be so hard to get what 5 million or 4 million more.
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough.
It is. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, this is where you can see it right now. I've got the blue, which is the actuals, and then the red is half of it's a forecast from Nintendo to around there. They get like just under 4 million off, and then another forecast from me based on their numbers. And I think they'll get there. I think they will get there 2 years from now, or March 2027. We will hear that they've reached 160 million.
Who knows? There might be like a massive uptake. Like they drop the price, and everyone's like, "Oh, this Tomodachi game looks so good," and it has like an Animal Crossing moment or something. Who knows?
Yeah, or do they do like a 2DS version? Do they really try and sell these units, get them out? A 2DS similar version of something. Yeah, I think it will obviously drop off a cliff. You know, for 4.5 million units in a year, that's so small. Because what the previous year just gone was 10.8, so they really expect it to drop once the Switch 2 comes out, which makes sense. But yeah, we don't know. That might be a conservative number given the tariff situation, the global economic situation. I know I've been talking to you a bit about, your kids. Would you still get them into Switch first and then get them into Switch 2? Because, it's a lot more affordable and there's already a big library of games. And eventually you get them a Switch 2 or something if they really like gaming from that point.
Yeah, it's like obviously for me it's tough because I've already got Switches, so I'm like, you can have this one, but
for parents in general,
yeah, like totally. As a parent, like if I wasn't into gaming, like obviously my kids are like, I got them like for Christmas, for example, we got them a big inflatable water slide, and like that was like $600, and like so you do like. Kids, they do get expensive things for like, big things like Christmas and things like that. But I could see like as a dad where I'm looking at something, I'm like, what's the difference here? Like, you can play Mario Kart on that. That's $300 like for a Switch Lite. And you're a kid, so I don't want you breaking this expensive thing. So yeah, I can see a lot of parents just opting for a Switch Lite or the original Switch because like they're not into gaming, they're not going to play it themselves or anything like that. And especially with the game price and everything, you can just see parents just being more attracted to the cheaper version. So it sort of depends on just how they market it, because like a Switch 2 comes out, will it be a massive focus, or will these systems just live together? Like Switch 2 Switch will become the budget option. It will become like, it's got existing games. Maybe they can do some really nice bundles with like 3 games included digitally with a Switch Lite or something like that, where like, look, you get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you get Animal Crossing, and you get, I don't know, Zelda. Like, you just get like a really nice deal. You can see like as a dad or a mum or a parent, you can just pick it up, give it to the kids. They're set, they're ready to go for a really attractive price. And maybe eventually the Switch 2 will get there. Probably not in the economy we're living through at the moment. But it's just tough because, I don't know, I also see kids getting around with iPads and that cost $700 or $1,000 or, whatever. And they got phones that cost that much too. Like, it's like, well, I don't know, like price doesn't always equate because like maybe they save up or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of tough. I'm trying to just think out of my own little bubble where like my kids are going to grow up in a really weird way where like their dad's playing the kid stuff in some ways. Like I'm not out tinkering with my car engine and stuff. I am playing Mario Kart. So yeah, I don't know.
It's going to drop off a lot. I do see the OLED and the standard Switch, those SKUs dropping off a cliff. I see the Switch Lite carrying it and getting it towards that 160, because there's always kids turning 4 or 5 and they'll want some sort of gaming device, and I think the OG Switch or the Switch Lite can provide that, and it will get there. I think it just with the whole osmosis, it's not like it's going from Wii U to Switch, where it's a completely different system console, and you want to forget about the previous one. It's Switch to Switch 2, and the Nintendo talks Switch still, and they've wanted to commit to it, and they did that with that direct, showing that there's at least 2 games made by them coming next year. So I think they're just cognizant that it's expensive if the whole family gets a Switch 2 each. That doesn't quite work. So in the meantime, here's a Switch. They're not going to drop the price. They'll keep it the same, but it just seems so much cheaper now compared to what the Switch 2 is, and everything else going up in price. The Switch staying the same makes it cheaper from that point of view.
Yeah, they need to. I think they need to study what PlayStation did with PS2. Like they kept that system alive. Like even to the point when the PS3 was out, like God of War 2 came out on PlayStation 2, and like a bunch of sports games were coming out for years after PS2 wasn't like the current console on the market. So like, it was supported by games for a long time. So whether we see that with Switch 1, that's the main thing. It's just like PS2 was like held up by Sony for a long time. So it's just whether Nintendo holds it up, or maybe they just don't care about it. Like personally for me, if I worked at Nintendo, I'd very much care about getting this record, knocking Sony off. I would do whatever I can to like make it happen. I'd be working out like strategies for price drops in the future, game bundles. I'll be doing everything just to scratch Sony out of it, because I hope there's some competitive nature there somewhere that they will do it. But they could also just drop it and be like, hey, look, brand new product. We need to make sure our future is secure by having the install base high, customers buying this. So in order to do that, Switch is cut off, and that's it. And apart from like, Rhythm Heaven and like games that won't move the needle, apart from like, I guess Nintendo fans like us, it'll be pretty much irrelevant in some ways. But yeah, we'll just have to see. It'll be something we'll keep in mind as we go forward. Just monitoring Nintendo and their business strategies, I guess.
Yeah, and they haven't had to do it without a price cut. The PS2 had the price cuts, and you got that little tiny slim, didn't you, in the end?
Of course, it's very cheap.
So this is more impressive, really, that they're pretty much going to do it without getting the price cut in. So, just goes to show how popular this system's been. I know there's been a pandemic which helped inflame and get the numbers up, but are still very impressive nonetheless that, they've done it without having to pull that pricing lever. Some other quick things with the financials. So, like, their net sales are down like 30% year on year. Like, the slowdown is here now. And, I think we saw in that quarter gone with the Switch sales that, it's a big drop. That quarter was 1.2 million compared to 1.9 the previous quarter before. So people are ready and waiting for the Switch 2 to come out. I thought this was pretty amazing. We had for the year, we had a whole bunch of sales to Super Mario Party Jamboree. That's the best selling Super Mario Party game or Mario Party game ever, the quickest selling. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold over 6 million. Echoes of Wisdom sold over 4. But then the next best-selling game was Nintendo Switch Sports for the year. Just that game is a couple of years old now, over 3 years old now, and it's still sputtering along. And I think it's around 15 million in total. So it's pretty. That's had a long tail. That game, and very reminiscent of not the same situation as Wii Sports back in the day, but people are that's one of the games they pick up when they buy a Switch this year anyway.
I've been thinking about going back to that actually after playing Drag X Drive.
Drive X basketball update they did mid last year as well, I think. So
I'd be pretty happy to get a free update for that. Just make it 120 frames, and just make sure it works really well with the Joy-Con 2s, and that'd be great. I'll be keen to go back and do the basketball and I really love the soccer. I know that it wasn't it didn't really use the motion controls that intelligently. You just sort of shake it and you do a diving headbutt and stuff like that. But I really liked it. I was actually kind of all about it. So yeah, it's interesting that it's selling so well still.
Yeah, doing very well. the other two, the final one I'll mention is Donkey Kong Country Returns HD got 1.27 million units sold, so that's not bad for the third time that game's come out with a re-release this late into the Switch. And then sadly, Xenoblade Chronicles X didn't hit the million, and that's why its numbers aren't mentioned. But it came out late March, and so these numbers are up until the end of March, but it didn't sell 1 million copies within those 10, 11 days. And I don't think we'll hear about the numbers for that game because they update it every fiscal year, and this was for the fiscal year just gone. So I don't think we'll really know the sales for that game, sadly.
Yeah, it probably didn't sell that well, just from like the point of the Switch's life at the moment, and the fact that it is a re-release and things like that. Potentially, it didn't do that well, but
yeah, I think it's a great last game for Switch 2. It's been great to play it.
Yeah, because you've been playing it, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm fully into the scales now. Loving that whole dynamic. The map is so much more open now. I am not as afraid anymore. I can go out and challenge a bit
you've got
more.
some confidence,
and, jump up and down the mountains and scale things and things I couldn't do and access before I can now. So it really does open up the game in a very cool way. So that game gets a sort of second life shot in the arm about 25 hours in.
Yeah. I wonder when that's getting a Switch 2 upgrade as well, because we got
it will be.
the 60 got the 60 frames in the code there, so it's kind of like, will it do it?
They're delaying it because they want you to buy it right now and play it instead of later and not buy it.
That's fair enough. They want your cash now, and they got you. They got our cash. It's all right.
For 9 million of you?
No, not 1 million.
Not quite.
Yeah, I mean, like the Donkey Kong Country Returns, that is just free money, isn't it? Like you sell over a million copies of a game that came out 2010.
10. Yeah,
and it already had a re-release. So, Christ, good on them. Good for them.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, cool stuff. Well, there you go. Is that the numbers, Josh?
They're the numbers. Yep, that's all the interesting stuff.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. It's good having a conversation about the Switch, whether it will hit 160 million, whether it will dethrone the PS2.
It'll get them.
I feel like the last 8 years of doing this podcast, Josh, I've just been like, I want it to, set a record. Like, I don't know. I'm not a corporate apologist. I'm not like a Nintendo fanboy where I'm like, I hate everything else. But it's just nice to shake it up. PS2 has had it for so long. So just make way, make way for another system.
It'll happen. We'll make it happen, Drew. You can buy your 16th Switch if you want. We'll get all the Switch light colors and special editions, and we'll make it happen.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've got to be honest. Every time I look at that Mario Red Switch OLED, I'm like, I wish I did that one. I wish I did that one. And like the Zelda one as well. I'm like, I wish I did. Here's the Kingdom one. If only. But I've got a little bit of being able to restrict myself from doing that stuff. So thank God for that. Otherwise, that's $1,000 gone just on those two. I don't want to help Nintendo that much. I've helped them enough. I've done my part, Josh.
Yeah, you've done your share. Let's be honest.
You do your part. Come on, you've only bought one. Ridiculous. Hey?
But then everything else I buy, accessories and amiibo and games and NSO. Yeah.
Yeah, do the thing where it's like, I'm a bigger supporter because I've bought
giant pillows from their Nintendo museum.
Yeah, that's true. You've visited them. You've actually been a nice friend and gone and said hello in person.
Correct. I have. Yep.
Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, let's talk about what we've been playing, Josh. You mentioned Xenoblade Chronicles X. Would you say 25 hours into the game?
25 hours.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anything else you'd like to touch on that you didn't touch on just before?
That's the only thing I've been playing this week.
Yep.
And so, really enjoying getting into that game a bit more. It gets better as you go on. And so, I just really like how different it is compared to the others. Really enjoying getting to grind away, getting better, moving around in the scales, customizing, and doing that kind of thing. So that's been a real fun time. And, pretty good to keep me occupied for the next 3 weeks. I'm not going to finish it in time, sadly, so it's gonna it's gonna drop off probably. I can foresee it just sort of. I'll get to like 40 hours maybe, and then it will just stop. I don't know.
Yeah, well, you just have to put it into the Switch 2 and get the
really
save file
sick or
loaded
something.
up and just go for it. Just don't play Mario Kart World and keep going.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing. I haven't had much chance to play stuff. When I have had the chance, it's been Xenoblade X.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I haven't been playing many games either. I've just been playing Claire Obscure Expedition 33 on
Nice.
Xbox via Game Pass. I've been finding it really hard to get in front of the TV to play this. I think I've played maybe between 10 and 12 hours of the game over the last 2 weeks. Like it's a little bit of a sad affair trying to get in front of the TV. I'm really looking forward to Switch 2. So it's like in my pocket and it can be pulled out for like 15 minutes at a time. Because I need to make up the time in increments like that when I've got small kids and take it to work with me to play at lunch and things like that. I'm actually kind of really holding out to have a convenient handheld that has the power once again. I'm very much looking forward to it. Because at the moment, getting in front of the TV, it's tough. But I'm really enjoying this game, dude. It's fantastic. Not much different to what I said last time. I said I was really struggling with the parrying and the dodging. I am getting more used to it, and I had I sort of heard a really good tip on a podcast I was listening to when I heard others talk about the game. When you dodge, it gives you like 2 bits of feedback. You do a dodge and it says dodge. So that means that you dodged in the dodge timing. And then if it says perfect, that means that you dodged in the parrying window. So it's like so you can sort of dodge and it has like a broader spot where you can avoid the attack. So after you do that a couple of times, because you see like the enemies come towards you, do their animations, and you sort of work it out. And if you start getting a few perfects, that's when you can sort of go in with the parrying a little bit more, be a little bit more confident with it.
Yep.
And there are some that are a little bit too hard to parry. So all right, I'll step back and I'll just dodge those. But so I'm sort of working it out a little bit. It's a little bit tough because I might have 2 or 3 nights in between a gameplay session. So every time I'm going back to it, I'm like, all right, I need to remember a little bit where I was going, what I'm doing, what I'm versing. At the moment, I'm saved at a boss. So next time I go into it, it's going to be working out the mechanics of the boss, their patterns, so I can parry and the weaknesses and all of that. So, I'm finding it a little bit tough. I'm also a little bit concerned. Am I fighting enough enemies? Am I right level? Am I finding it maybe a little bit trickier because I haven't equipped the right things to my character? Am I under leveled?
Okay.
There's a lot of things going on here. I'm kind of once again, I am very much looking forward to Switch 2 because I can turn on Mario Kart and fuck me dead. It's a little bit more simple. Then the kids are in bed. I'm like, all right, now it's time to min-max my party, work out my parries. And I'm kind of just making the story's intriguing enough where I'm like, all right, I'm going to work it out. I'm going to make it happen. But yeah, I kind of just want to, I'm kind of just a tired dad at the moment, dude. I just want something a bit more basic. The story's fantastic. I finished chapter 1 and, that was something. Certainly, wow. Into chapter 2 and the story's opening up and a couple more characters are introduced. And I mean, just from the music is just phenomenal. It is beyond phenomenal. And hearing the backstory behind this, where the composer for the game, he was found on SoundCloud. He hadn't composed a game in his life. And he was on SoundCloud, and they found him. And
oh my god, that's so good.
The soundtrack to this
just gave him a job.
Yeah, the soundtrack to this game, dude, it's incredible. And every battle and every boss has a unique theme. You don't hear a repetitive theme like you do in most Japanese RPG games. It's just the variety as well. I'm like, this game's incredible. Like, I don't want to listen to the soundtrack before I finish the game because I don't really want to spoil the music. I know that might sound a bit weird, but I prefer to hear it for the first time in the game when I'm going up against the boss or something. But this is definitely going to be like an OST to have in your music library to go back to because yeah, it's phenomenal, and the voice acting and performances are incredible as well. All the characters and things. Yeah, just a very unique game. So yeah, that's driving me forward. It's just on a personal level. I'm kind of just like, I'm looking at like I've got Game Pass to play this game, and Doom just came out. There's part of me looking at Doom. I'm like, if I go over to that game, I can just shoot things. I don't know.
More mind numbing, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit more mind numbing. I don't know because yeah, but I do have this game on story mode, so. But it's not easy necessarily, at least from how I'm playing the game. But yeah, no, a tremendous game. And there was the director of the game was asked about Switch 2, and he basically replied saying it'll be very interesting on Switch 2. So you know, this will be a cool game to have on Switch 2. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's coming, surely.
Yeah, like it's like I guess it's a relatively small team, and they've just had a tremendous success. So there'll be a lot of meetings like where we're going to go from here, like more platforms, sequels. Like there'll be a lot going on in their office, I'd imagine at the moment. The sort of like just plan out the future of what their studio is going to do. But Switch 2, that's a good maneuver for a port. I would dare say that generate some more revenue because. I tell you what, man, I wish to hell I had this on Switch at the moment or even Steam Deck, I don't know, just so I could take it with me and just pick it up every now and again and do some grinding, things like that. Like RPGs are just really good for that. I am thankful that this is like a shorter game as far as RPGs goes, about 25 to 35 hours for the main story, which is I guess
not too long.
Short, but the way I'm playing the game, dude, it's going to take me a while. Don't know, man.
Get there, but yeah,
I will get there.
You might need to hurry up if you want to do it before.
My Game Pass runs out
Switch
the 2nd
2.
of June, and obviously Switch 2 comes out the 5th. So
Yes, perfect. Really,
I was aiming to get South of Midnight done as well, but I'm like, oh well, not doing that. Gaming time's being put into Expedition. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I'm focusing on that at the moment. I've been looking at a fair few sales on Switch eShop as well, but haven't pulled the trigger on any yet. I've been looking at like Life is Strange.
Is there much on at the moment for sales?
No, not too much. There was like a fair bit.
No.
There's The Witcher 3 is the cheapest it's been on Switch.
Had that big one the other month for sales. Yeah. I
Yeah.
haven't heard much lately.
Yeah, so I've been looking at them, but just for stuff where I'm like, I would like to have it because like I got to admit the new virtual game card system that they've got really pleases my OCD when it comes to my game library. I really like it, so I kind of like I don't mind adding to it. Because I was looking at the Life is Strange games, like I would like to replay them, and I'd like to have them on a portable console. But I haven't heard too good of things about the performance. But Switch 2 might help that. Don't know.
Yeah.
Just look at Switch 2. That's going to solve all our problems. All our gaming problems on Switch, all gone away.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's what I've been playing. Been playing that. All right, Josh. Let's end the show with some questions. Last minute, I reached out on our Discord just asking for some questions, and thankfully, I got some replies. So I got 3 questions here, Josh. I haven't read them. They could be asking about our personal lives, what's going on, behind the scenes. They could be asking for the most sauciest details.
Please somewhat vet it before you ask it.
No vetting here because I know these people, so don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident. First off, we've got Luke Levenide. He says, now that we're about to start a new Nintendo hardware generation, what are you looking forward to? What are you most looking forward to? For me, it's what Nintendo might do with more powerful hardware. Switch 2 is the first significant upgrade we've had since the Wii U 13 years ago. So that's actually a good point. Like, it is like the first big step up since Wii to Wii U, really, as far as like what it can do apart from just the handheld nature of it. But what is the thing you're looking forward to most with a brand new generation of Switch 2, Josh?
The big games coming out. I think the last couple of years, barring Tears of the Kingdom, we've had some. I'm not going to call it filler, but some other smaller things, and I really love them. And I like when you get the time to play them and appreciate them, you get to understand they are good games. They do have their place, but I'm just ready to play those big games. You know, a new Mario Kart, a new 3D Donkey Kong. There's going to be some big new stuff coming out next year as well. So those big ones that Nintendo saved for the Switch 2, all of that stuff. That's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great answer. First party content is a big one, obviously, for a Nintendo console. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to just all the fun little features that the Switch 2 does over the Switch, like the mouse controls, all of that stuff. It's just fun new ways to play games. I'm excited about that. But I think the answer I'll go with is just the newfound support from third parties, where it will be like games that we couldn't get before that we can now get, because I am stoked to be like, I'm going to be playing Street Fighter 6. I'm stoked to be playing a game like Cyberpunk on Nintendo. You can play it on Steam Deck. I love my Steam Deck, but there's just something about the Switch. I love the Switch. And it's been like 2 or 3 years where I honestly haven't looked at the Switch as like a third party machine. Like, for example, Fantasy Life, the new one, comes out on all platforms later this week.
Yeah, it's not very soon, isn't it?
And I've been looking at it. I'm like, oh, it looks like a lot of fun. Like, I'm kind of craving that simple experience where you can pick like multiple lives in these games, and one of them's an angler. You just go fishing. I'm like, that's what I like to do in Animal Crossing the most. So, like an in-depth sort of version of fishing in Animal Crossing, where I'm like, sort of really focusing on just that. I kind of really like that, but looking at the footage of the Switch version, it kind of looks like it's choppy and it's not performing very well, because the game looks stunning on PS4 and PS5 and PC and Xbox. But it seems like, even games like that, they're just not up to snuff on Switch. So when it comes to Switch 2, like all of that stuff will be on the cards again for Switch. So I'm just kind of stoked to just go back to not having to think about it too much. Like, it will be a good version of third-party games on Nintendo, and I'm stoked for that, because, yeah, I remember like the early days of Switch where like it was just so convenient. I remember like cooking a stir fry. I had the Switch up, and I had like one Joy-Con in my hand and playing Breath of the Wild and Puru Puru Tetris, and I was just going nuts for third-party games. And there was a point there where it wasn't to my liking anymore with the third party. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. Can't wait to make, I guess, the Switch 2 my most used console for like the foreseeable future again, which I'm happy about, especially since I run this show.
Yeah.
And that comes in handy,
that would
actually.
help.
Yeah, because it kind of just became a first party machine for a while. Next up, we got Egmont. Zach. If you are at a buffet, do you eat what you want to eat, or what gets you the best value for money? That's a good question.
What's the question? What?
So if you're at a buffet, do you eat what you want to eat, or what gets you the best value for money? So do you just go to a buffet and just eat what you want, like what just makes your belly feel good, or do you get the expensive stuff to make sure you get your bang for your buck? Like, do you go for the prawns even though you're not like much of a prawn man, for example?
No.
I do.
I grab everything I want to eat. Regardless of price.
Yeah, I mainly like, if I go to a place, I love fried rice, for example. I'll just go and like have a little fried rice. And then that's not good.
They want you to get fried rice.
Exactly.
You to load up on fried
that's
rice.
Not good value for money, because like that's really cheap for them to make. So yeah,
that's fine.
I definitely eat what I want to eat. So
yeah.
And to be honest, not many buffets anymore, Josh. A little bit disappointing. They don't really work.
Not where you live, I imagine. There's some still where I live.
Yeah, but there's not many though, is there? Do you remember?
Not as many as there used to be.
Do you remember Charlie's? You ever go to Charlie's?
Yeah, Charlie's and Pizza Hut at Marion there. That was huge for.
Yeah. Oh, Pizza Hut. Yeah, like the works. Get the works meal.
Oh, and the dessert. I get all the pizza, pineapple, Hawaiian. Yeah, all of it. Yeah.
Well, when's
Great
the
stuff.
last time you've been to a buffet? Like, does Charlie's still exist in Adelaide or
They
what?
do exist. There's one on Brighton Road. The Watermark is a good one still. They're there. They're there, man. Next time you come over, we'll do an all you can eat.
Let's go and do a buffet, and I'll just go and load up on rice.
And a bit of meat.
Yeah. Well, in Melbourne, we went to one of those Korean barbecue places. Chantel and I, and like 60% of it was seafood, and we don't really like seafood, so we just like
Damn.
we're just in the red meat section. So
Ate rice and meat.
yeah, so we could have we even got we got some I guess paddle pops for oysters because you could only get so many oysters, and we just didn't even use them. So we 100% did not get our value for money. So I am probably an extreme version of I eat what I want to eat. I'm not going to eat the oysters just because I got to get my value for money.
No, you want it to be yummy and something you enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. And last question from Compire. What's going to be your last game you'll play on the original Switch before retiring it? Anything you feel like you've missed out on / regret not getting into? I've got a lot of games that I've missed out on, and I don't have regrets necessarily. I'll get to them, especially with how the Switch generation seems to be transitioning to Switch 2. I'll have my whole library there, no worries at all, because I'm all digital on mine. So I'll just go to it and I'll click on it and I'll download it and I'll play it. I don't think there'll be too much of a worry, and I'll probably play it a lot better on Switch 2 than I will the original Switch. I certainly missed out on a lot of stuff. I want to go back to the original Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors. I didn't play those games on Switch. A bigger one would be, like I talked about at the start of the show, would be Pikmin 4. I didn't get around to that. I had such a lull after Tears of the Kingdom. I kind of came off one of my most favorite gaming experiences I've ever had. I loved it so much, and I went so hard on it for a couple of weeks that I had a bit of a lull, and it kind of lasted through Pikmin 4 as well as Final Fantasy 16. There was a few games that came out in that time frame, and they're in my backlog forever just because I finished Tears of the Kingdom. I just went, all right, well, gaming's on hold for a month, and I just missed them. But I don't regret that because I'm kind of Pikmin 4 is a prime candidate for a Switch 2 edition or a free update, a prime candidate, because it's not like a Mario Maker where it's Pikmin 5 is going to be coming out in a couple of years, and they don't want to muddy the waters or anything.
It's another 10 years away, that game.
Yeah, that's right. Well, who knows? I hope not. I hope. Honestly, they go that hard with Pikmin merchandise. I feel like they want to just keep it relevant with games just to sell
I'd love
T-shirts.
to see it not have the 10-year wait that from 3 to 4 had. Yeah, for sure.
Miyamoto, put your foot down. Get that shit done.
Yeah.
But as far as
teams, they need more teams working on their games.
Yeah, more people, more teams, more games. Yep. We've got an appetite here.
Yeah, Pikmin 4 is a good one. That's a really great game, and I think it sold decently well. But it came just after Tears of the Kingdom. Come on, it was always gonna struggle a little and get the word out. But super fun, fulfilling game, that one. Yeah,
for sure. Also, with the last game I'll play on my Switch before retiring it, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I haven't really thought about having a little Viking funeral for my Switch OLED, send it off in a little.
I haven't thought about it either.
Little shoebox into the lake somewhere.
It's not like I'm not going to play Switch games once the Switch 2 comes out. So I've never felt, I need to play something just before it.
Yeah, because honestly, it doesn't feel like the Switch is ending. It just feels like it's getting a shot in the arm, kind of. The games are starting again. The games are going to run better. It just feels like a big shot in the arm rather than moving from DS to 3DS or Wii to Wii U or more extreme Wii U to Switch. It just doesn't feel like that to me. I'm looking at the eShop now being what games can I get for cheap while they're on sale now that I will want to play on Switch 2 and potentially better if it's got uncapped frame rate and things like that. What games do you feel like you've missed out on, Josh?
I think it's more so ones I haven't finished that I regret not finishing. So I think for me on the Switch is Astral Chain,
Yes, that's
Um,
one for me.
Yeah, because I did enjoy that, and I did drop off. And then Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So,
hmm
yes, amazing things. They're great games. I think they're the main two ones for me. I'm just looking at the list. I think they're the ones.
Yeah, that's good because like don't get me wrong, I've got a massive backlog on Switch. Even like some first party games, like you mentioned, Xenoblade. I've got to play like those 3 games or 4 games now with X. So that's a massive sort of backlog. I'm also not like super inclined to get to them, so that's half of it too. So I'm not too worried. I'll get to them if I ever decide to. I think it'll be great too. That's another great, like especially Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That's a great one to get a Switch upgrade just for like the resolution is like really low
2 would be good.
in handheld mode
be a
and
good
all
upgrade.
that. So that'd be
Yep.
great to get. That'd be the whole series getting a glow up on Switch 2 just with an update would be really nice. But yeah, I've got like Astral Chain. I didn't finish that one. Xenoblade didn't finish the first one that I started. Like last year I beat Luigi's Mansion 3 for the first time. I went and wiped that off my backlog, so
Yep.
got that
Nice.
off my backlog. I'm trying to think what else I didn't finish. Like those might be the biggest ones. Like I've got other ones from last year too, like Thousand Year Door. Like I decided that no, I'm not going to play this. I was playing something else at the time. I think it was Stellar Blade on PS5. So yeah, I've got plenty of games.
Luigi's Mansion 2.
Yeah, I got that, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't need to do
I
that.
don't regret that.
I'm not too fast
Echoes of
about that.
Wisdom, I need to finish that.
Yeah, that's a big one as well for me. Echoes of Wisdom, and I don't know. We're kind of getting rewarded for that because we can play it as a Switch 2 game essentially.
That's true. That's true.
Because yeah, that's a really nice looking game, but it's just like
It'll look even better now.
but if you put that to 1440p or 4K or whatever it's going up to, beautiful. That's going to be awesome to
Beautiful.
play at a lock
That's right.
60. Fantastic. It's going to be way
Mhm.
better than everybody else who had to just get through it on Switch 1. So, oh, God, it's down to 40 frames and 30 frames and
Nice.
60 frames. Oh, I don't know. It's funny because all of this talk about games that I haven't played, need to finish, what I'm going to play, I'm just really excited to either go to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2, games that I have finished. So that's got to be my answer as far as like Switch 1 games that I'm really looking forward to on Switch 2. Because I was going to go to Tears of the Kingdom, but honestly, after going back to Breath of the Wild at our event last week, Josh, where I was just going around killing Guardians, I'm like, I kind of want to do this. I want to go back to like a bit more of a basic Hyrule, maybe to start off with, because it's been years since I played Breath of the Wild. To go back to that and do the DLC that I haven't finished and get the Master Cycle and things like that. So I'm kind of there now. Like, when that DLC came out, I'm like, oh look, I've had enough, but I'm there now. We'll just see if I fit it in. Everything else, because it's going to be crazy from like June 5th and onwards. Like, yeah,
Yeah. And let's be honest, probably not.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I'll definitely download it. But yeah, I don't know if I'll play anything from honestly now until Switch 2 comes out on my Switch. To be honest with you, like I'm playing Expedition 33, so I don't think I'll start up a new game in between then. So, don't know. What was the last game I played through on Switch? I played like a bit of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I played 5 hours, so that would be it, I guess. And it'll be the same for you since you're playing it extensively now.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'd like to know what everybody else. What is the last game you're going to be playing on your original Switch, whether it's your OLED or your OG Switch from day one? I'd like to hear like how you're sending off the console and how you're going to kickstart the brand new generation of Switch 2. Is it going to be with Mario Kart World? I dare say a lot of the answers will be that. Mine included, I dare say, if I can download it in time. If it's the first one that downloads, it'll be the first one I play. But yeah, I'd like to hear, how you're going to kickstart your new generation and end your current generation. But Josh, that brings us to the end of the House of Mario episode 314. Hope you had a good time. I did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, well, brilliant. I appreciate that. That's good.
Excellent.
Josh, Nintendonia, or what it's going to be called in the future. Where can people check it out, and what's your current episode all about? Remind us again.
Yes, so it is currently called Nintendonia, but yes, from the hints, it will be going through a name change. There will be something new to it coming very soon. So keep an eye and ear out for that. The latest episode is me at the Switch 2 experience in Melbourne. I'm doing a little recording over the top of some B-roll. I went there with Drew. We had a really great time. We played all the new Switch 2 games coming up, including like Knockout Tour in Mario Kart World, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, DK Bonanza, and then we had some fun with Super Mario Party Jamboree and the new Jamboree TV DLC. So check out the video. You can hear us yelling. I lose my voice because of it. We had the whole expo hall laughing and clapping afterwards because we were so loud and everyone noticed. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's why Josh lost his voice last week. So you'll be able to see why.
Yeah, I just recovered now. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, go and check that out. And also, if you want to check out the podcast, The House of Mario on the video, go to youtube.com/iDruby. You can check out my videos as well as other podcasts I do there. As well as if you're checking it out on video, it's all on podcast services as well. So you can download it to your Apple Podcast, Spotify. And when you do that, leave us both a review. Would really appreciate it. But Josh, it's time to shut the doors. So please polish that... No, don't. I was going to say polish that knob, but don't do that. Don't do that.
No, not on camera.
Not on camera. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Maybe just get the... I don't know. Just get the handprints off. Because, I don't know. Don't worry what we've been doing. Shut the door. Sure. Catch you later.
Bye, everyone.